Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome to the Fashion Bunker. Today, well, first of all, before we begin today, let's talk about yesterday or the day, I don't know when I posted the other video. I have been quite confused, and for those of you who haven't seen the video, you could check it out about, the future, jobs, happiness, creativity. So today, going back to fashion in a way, in a very fashionable manner, I think the most appropriate thing to do would be to talk about Vivienne Westwood and Dame Westwood. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this lady. People criticize her for being kind of, falsely battling against, everything from, she has her climate revolution battles, but also other political battles, and she would is famous for boycotting her own collections in a way. So it's a strange dichotomy of things, juxtaposition of things, contradiction of things, but I guess in a way that could be considered punk still today, if punk is at all still alive today. Actually, unfortunately, it might be extinct. In any case, I am very fascinated by Dame Westwood's AR. Okay, well, before we get to it, it's active resistance, and actually active resistance to propaganda. Now, this is a little shopping that has happened. Vivienne Westwood bag, and then we have a bag in a bag. Because it was raining, I needed to protect this. I got an Anglomania piece this time around. I love my Medusas, and if they are not from Versace, they better be from Caravaggio. So this is a Caravaggio Medusa head. This is the active resistance. You see the AR there? And then we have the Baroque Medusa painted by Caravaggio. Well, of course, this is just a print. Now, what is interesting, of course, Caravaggio's Medusa isn't really a woman. It's one of those boys that he loved to paint and portray over and over and over again. The same type of physiognomy and face would be seen on the Bacchus and the little sick Bacco, and it could also be seen on the little boy bitten by the lizard. However, the Medusa is a mythological creature that I adore. I love all the myths surrounding her. And here we have the head of the Medusa actually cut. Now, there are several Medusa paintings out there, also sketches and drawings and paintings by Caravaggio. This one, however, is bleeding. Her head is actually almost as if it were turned in stone as well, because the myth wants it that she saw her own reflection and turned to stone. But this head of the Medusa is cut off. So let's put this on, shall we? To talk about active resistance to propaganda. Now, connected to the video from before, this one as well, talks or wishes, or I wish to talk about things in a proper manner without sounding so confused as I did in the other video. But trust you me, in the video before I was not confused. I was just extremely upset. And since I share these things with you guys, I wish to be honest about them. And while I collect myself and wait till I've calmed down after I don't know how many drinks, to squish myself into believing something that is not true, or just like artificially calming myself down. No, if I'm upset, I'm upset, and I want to share it. Now, let's just say that I am in love with the Medusa. Okay. Now, something I wanted to, this is a Wikipedia thing. Most universities would not let you use Wikipedia to, as a reference point, because you never really know what's true, what's not true. But let's just read it out of here because we're allowed to. Active Resistance Manifesto. Now, if you Google Vivienne Westwood and check out the Wikipedia page on her in English, this is what you're going to find at a certain point, scrolling down through her biography and history. In a 2007 interview, Westwood spoke out against what she perceived as the drug of consumerism. And in 2009, she attended the premiere of The Age of Stupid, a film aimed at motivating the public to act against climate change. She later created a manifesto called Active Resistance to Propaganda, which she says deals with the pursuit of art in relation to the human predicament and climate change. In her manifesto, she penetrates to the root of the human predicament and offers the underlying solution. We have the choice to become more cultivated and therefore more human. Or by muddling along as usual, we shall remain the destructive and self-destroying animal, the victim of our own cleverness. Against the claim that anti-consumerism and fashion contradict each other, she said in 2007, "I don't feel comfortable defending my clothes, but if you've got the money to afford them, then buy something from me. Just don't buy too much." She faces criticism from eco-activists who claim that despite her calls to save the environment, she herself makes no concessions to making her clothing or her business eco-friendly. This is an interesting topic here. And we're going to touch base on something that is particular to a lot of criticism directed towards Coco Chanel as well. All the claims of Chanel being having been a Nazi spy during the Second World War, and collaborating with the Nazis, using all the laws in power by the Nazis back then to gain control, to regain all the power over her cosmetic industry, her perfumes, especially her perfume number 5, mostly because that was a famous one back then already. To use all the anti-Jewish laws, basically, to her favor, because the contract that she had was stipulated with a Jewish family. Now, why am I mentioning Coco Chanel and this kind of complications that shrouded her, and a lot of people are still upset with her, even though, I'm not going to get into the Chanel story because it would require literally 1, 2, 3, up to 10 videos to discuss this thoroughly. But what I want to say in relationship to this video is that Vivienne Westwood is still alive. And fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately for her, she's alive in the times where we have all the multimedia, where we have all the possibilities that we do have of communication and of asking her questions related to these moral issues that we have today. Mind you, what is very important for both Vivienne and Chanel to notice is that the moral of today does not reflect the moral of times long gone. If we are to judge history, we have to understand it, and we have to understand how it functioned and what was considered legal, not legal, moral, amoral back in the day. So Vivienne Westwood is judged today by today's standards, and she is living in a time where we can talk to her, and she could either say yes or no to an interview. Chanel cannot do that. She does not have the privilege to defend herself anymore. And she came from a time where there was no internet, when there was only speculation. Most of her life is legend. It's myth. It has come to us, and there's a lot of fictitious information out there. There's a lot of facts as well, but I would not be too quick to judge, and especially because, don't forget, she might have had ways of trying to gain power over her perfumes during the Second World War. But fact is that after the Second World War, she came to terms and to an agreement, to settlement with the Wertheim family. They kept their share of the perfumes in a way, and she got to live in the Ritz for the rest of her life, all expenses paid for. That was part of her settlement, and she did. She used that her suite or room in the Ritz till her dying day. So if it was good enough for them business-wise, why shouldn't it be good enough for us? It's none of our freaking business to begin with. That's all I'm saying. About what sort of business relationships they had during the war, after the war, and what settlements they came across. The Valentine family wins in the end. They own Chanel today. So go figure. Who are we judging here? With Vivienne Westwood, we have the complication of a woman that comes from punk. I mean, she's this is the way only I perceive her, and so correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, this is just my perception of her. I think her heart is in the totally right place. Her moral is in the right place for today's standards and times. It's just that behind her is this huge company that I don't even think that she kind of is in charge of anymore. It's like a huge machinery running this ginormous construct. And sometimes, and very often, the person that is Vivienne Westwood gets kind of covered up by the power of a company that is called Vivienne Westwood, but the company is not Vivienne Westwood. And I think we have to be very, very clear and specific about that. We have to distinguish the two things before we judge. And I think we have to always understand where a person is coming from one point, before we just throw shade at them. And I do believe that what she is doing as a person, from a human point of view, is beautiful. It's amazing. And she is detaching more and more from the business part. And fine, the woman is over 70. She has the right to also chill a little and like to dedicate her life to what she loves now, her passion of now. She's entering a new phase of her life. So let her battle out the climate revolutions. Let her battle out all of her beliefs politically. And don't judge her fashion and her fashion company as being her. Those are two different things. Like, have that emotional intelligence to separate the two things, to understand that the person is not the brand is not the person. Very, very rarely do they kind of unite completely. And even if they unite almost completely, most likely they will unite on levels such as the belief of aesthetics that a person has uniting to the aesthetics of the brand. Rarely does the moral of the brand completely attach and connect to the eventual morals of the person. Unless, of course, the person has no morals, in which case it's pretty easy to attach the no morals person to brands that nowadays usually produce under no moral circumstances. Most of them producing in very poor conditions, mostly in Asia, where wages are extremely low and poverty is very high. So, God damn it, if we were to judge every single thing we eat, where it was grown, how it was grown, what seeds does it come from? Does Monsanto has its paws in it? Is the thing poisoned? Even fair trade is kind of a label for something that's not really completely morally acceptable nowadays. The same thing goes for raw materials, fabrics, stuff we use to create clothing. Where does the cotton grow? Under what conditions? Is it genetically mutated or not? Vegans want to buy shoes that have no leather, but guess what? Some glues used to attach the plastics of the shoe together have also animal bone residue or something in there. Like, you're never really going to have a clear passage there. Nothing you do can be completely, to today's standards, morally acceptable. You're going to have to swallow your pride somewhere. You're going to have to say, okay, well, maybe I'm going to close an eye here, close an eye there. That's how life is. That's unfortunately how our society ticks. And it does demand you to close an eye if you want to move forward in any sort of way. I'm not saying we always should close an eye. What I'm saying is, if I have to choose sooner or later to close an eye somewhere, I choose to close it with things that I love in some way, shape, or form. Westwood is a love of mine, is a passion of mine. I respect her highly. I decide to close an eye as far as the business is concerned. Because I love the message behind that she's still trying to push forward to us, or that her designs or clothes transpire and try to push forward to us. Active resistance to propaganda is exactly that to me. I chose to buy this sweater, this crew neck. It is propaganda in a way for Vivienne Westwood, for her brand. Although, no, we do. We even have the orb stitched into, so you see that it's her piece. but active resistance at the same time. I'm kind of buying propaganda to fight against propaganda. It sounds crazy, but think about it. Buying propaganda to fight against propaganda. There can be a transformation happening right there. There can be a mirroring. There can be an effect where we as a consumer, we as a human being, you don't even have to be a consumer, just find the right connection to what we really need and distinguish what we really need from what we want. Two different worlds. Super hard to understand the silver lining between them. Where is the difference between what we want and what we need? I guess the people that come as close as possible in today's society to freedom are the people that have understood the difference between what they personally, individually want and need. I'm still working on it. I'm still really working hard to try to figure that one out. I wouldn't have the presumption to just say, oh yeah, I know what I need and I know what I want. Sometimes the lines are fuzzy and blurry and blurred, and it's not always that easy. I'm just starting from me. That's all I can do for now. I can only start for myself, and I can definitely make a step further and talk to you guys and try to, ask for your opinion and understand what you need and what you want. And sharing this platform on YouTube with you is amazing to me because it brings us that much closer to the truth, to freedom of expression, freedom of being who we really are, freedom of not being afraid of saying what we want. So again, going back to the video I posted before, a little bit confused about, job situation and unhappiness and trying to break through and be free. Understanding what we want and understanding or knowing what we need is, I guess, the primary step towards having that strength of moving on in life and changing the position we are in right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this a very different type of unboxing reveal, if you shall. And thumb up this video if you liked it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave me all sorts of comments. I hope that this video has inspired you in any sort of way. Share this video. Make awareness be heard and wake people up. I think it's fundamental. I love you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget, no matter how hard propaganda and capitalism try to put you down, you just stand right up again. Yell in its face that you're never gonna give up on love. Love ya. Bye, guys.